Hello and welcome to PowerBoost Meditation. Today, let us experiment with the theme, the power of a point. The point has all the power. We realize that in mathematics, there are different geometries. There's a line, a triangle, circle, and then more complicated geometries like cubes and tetrahedras and hexagons, many other things. But the simplest and the easiest is a point. The point is non-dimensional. A line is one-dimensional, and then the things are two-dimensional, three-dimensional, like it becomes more and more complex. But a point is zero-dimensional, or we say non-dimensional. And so in spiritual realization, if I make my thinking close to the point, I realize that the journey or that shift, the transition that needs to happen from a thinking that is based, rooted, always is we are trained to think about and analyze and comment and criticize or all these things about what is happening outside, and which makes our thinking more and more complex, multidimensional. But in order to make that shift, when I realize the importance of a point, just a point, and I realize that my essence is a point. My life is actually lived in being a point. All my inner experiences, inner powers are merged in the point. Because this entire journey is happening, the point, the spiritual little star, it's a very tiny star, but it's very powerful. The entire journey is being recorded in this tiny star. Not only of this one lifetime, but many, many lives. And so not to miss the point. When I miss the point, I miss everything. And so not to miss this point. And so even as we contemplate, even as we reflect, even as we have positive thoughts, everything is good. But the power of it will be felt. The transformation is experienced when I see everything from the perspective of this point. Because this awakening has to happen of this point. And so as we go into the expansion of things, whether of our tasks or even it's like thinking or reflecting about spiritual aspects. But whilst being in the expansion, it is very, very important to not to lose the point, not to miss the point, not to forget the point, and to always connect to the point and amplify or live from the perspective of the point. And the more I pay attention to that, the more it becomes a very real experience, not a fabricated experience, but a very real experience. So let us take a few moments to experience the power of point. As we take this moment, let us feel that the entire expansion of our life, the roles, the responsibilities, various tasks, and all the experiences living this life are all getting merged, are all converging, as if all the scenes are converging. And as they begin to converge, I see that they're converging in a point. It's a point of eternal light. Within this point lie the experience of truth. Within this point lies the incredible power, the power to be myself. I realize that even as we speak, we listen, we see, it is not happening on its own, but it's this point, the point that is using the costume to speak, the point that is using the costume to listen. It's the point that is using the costume to see. The perspective of the point is the real perspective. As I realize that this beautiful, tiny, subtle point is my truth, I just merge my thoughts, my experiences in being this tiny point. This point's life is eternal. This point is undisturbed, unperturbed by anything that happens in the real world. This point lives in the dimension of silence. This point's companion is the Supreme, the Source, the Divine. This point has a beautiful family where everyone is loved, respected, cared. This point, its life is a life of celebration. It's a life of blessings. There's nothing lacking in the life of the point. Even the play of life is a friend of this point, because the point is full. Everything is benevolent. Everything is beautiful. There's nothing that the point has to prove. It just needs to be. And this point experiences an unbroken link of deep love and belonging to the eternal point, the source, the divine. As if all the experiences of the source slowly enter the point. And the point becomes filled with the richness of being loved unconditionally by the divine. And through this perspective, the point develops a power to only focus on the good, to only see the benevolent, to only look at the unlimited. From this perspective, the point has benevolent feelings towards every being. And just hold on to this experience. As I feel these rays of unconditional love and care reach out from this point, the soul, to the entire world. The power of this pure, benevolent light. It heals. This point naturally stays above, stays beyond the drama of life, stays above the line. This point doesn't cross the line and stays in the clarity of being an eternal traveler. And as this point enters the physical dimension, which is on the other side of the line, the point holds on to this perspective naturally. I just experience the presence of this point, and I strengthen this perspective of seeing everything from the perspective of the point. I experience the power of a point, being a point, having an unbroken relationship with the Supreme Point. And from time to time, just converging the thoughts of expansion into a point.